My friend, there exists in this universe an intelligence so vast, so perfectly ordered, that not a single leaf falls from its branch without cause, nor does a single tear flow from your eye without meaning. This is the divine order, the invisible structure upon which all healing, all transformation, and all resurrection depend. And within this order there is a sacred law that few dare to apply, the law that bids you to speak to your pain. For pain, whether it rises in your body, your heart, or your mind, is not your enemy, it is your messenger. It comes not to destroy you, but to instruct you. It is the voice of your unhealed thought, the echo of your forgotten harmony, the teacher who will not leave until you have learned what you once refused to see. Most men curse their pain. They run from it, hide it beneath the distractions of noise and indulgence, drown it in work, or numb it with substances and false comforts. Yet every time they flee, the lesson deepens and the pain, unacknowledged, grows louder. You cannot silence what you refuse to understand. So I say unto you, speak to your pain not as a victim speaks to a tyrant, but as a master speaks to a servant. For indeed, pain is your servant. It arises at your command, as a reflection of thoughts you have nurtured and emotions you have left unhealed. If you have nurtured resentment, pain will show you the wound of unforgiveness. If you have harbored fear, pain will show you the place where faith has not yet entered. If you have lived without purpose, pain will reveal the hunger of your soul for direction and meaning. When you look into your pain with reverence, not rejection, you will begin to perceive the order behind the chaos. Imagine for a moment that the cells of your body are obedient citizens in the kingdom of your mind. Each cell listens, each nerve obeys. If your thoughts are disordered, your kingdom is in confusion. If your thoughts are harmonious, your kingdom is at peace. Healing, therefore, is not the manipulation of flesh, it is the restoration of order in consciousness. And the divine order of healing begins with acknowledgement. You must first see the pain not as an intruder, but as a signal. You must speak to it with authority and love. Say to it, "Pain, I see you. You are my teacher, not my punishment. Speak, and I will listen." And as you listen, truly listen, you will discover what part of you has been neglected. The pain will answer. It may answer through emotion, through memory, through sudden realization, but it will answer. You will learn that the body never acts without instruction from the mind. Every sensation is the echo of a thought form, repeated often enough to manifest in matter. Thus, physical pain is the body's final attempt to bring your attention to a mental or emotional imbalance. You may say, "But how can mere words heal what doctors cannot cure?" I tell you, words are not mere. Words are the vibrations of your spirit. Each word you speak carries a pattern of belief. When you speak with conviction born of understanding, you send new commands into the subconscious and through it, into every fiber of your being. In that moment, your cells awaken to a new instruction. The divine order begins to rearrange itself around your new vibration. Pain, sensing its mission completed, begins to dissolve, for it has delivered its message and no longer has reason to remain. The one who speaks to pain with love becomes a commander of healing. Yet remember this, love without understanding is sentiment, and understanding without love is cold intellect. It is the union of both the warmth of compassion and the clarity of insight that awakens the true healer within. When Christ touched the sick, he did not beg the body to recover, he spoke to it. He commanded, "Be made whole." Why? Because he understood that matter is obedient to mind, and mind is obedient to spirit. You too are endowed with that authority. But you must reclaim it by recognizing your oneness with the source, that same divine intelligence that governs the stars, that beats your heart, that flows through every living atom of creation. When you align your thought with that order, you call forth the harmony that has always been yours. Healing, then, is not the addition of something new, it is the removal of interference. It is the lifting of veils that obscure your original perfection. Every man and woman carries within the memory of divine health, for it was written into the blueprint of the soul before the body was formed. When you speak to your pain with faith, you awaken that memory. Do not rush this process. Divine order operates with precision, not haste. The same intelligence that unfolds a rose in its season will unfold your healing in perfect timing. But you must cooperate with it through gratitude, through forgiveness, through surrender. The moment you cease to resist your pain, its energy begins to transform. Resistance feeds pain, acceptance dissolves it. So I ask you now, with the authority of one who has studied the laws of mind and spirit, what if your pain was never against you? What if it was the final messenger of your forgotten truth, urging you to realign with the power that created you whole? Speak to it then as a friend. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? Listen, not with fear, but with reverence, and you shall hear the whisper of your own divine intelligence replying, I am here to guide you home. My friend, now that we have opened the first gate, the understanding that pain is not the enemy, but the messenger, we must step deeper into the sacred laboratory of the mind, where all true healing begins. For it is here, in the hidden chambers of your thought, that the alchemy of transformation takes place. Every man is an alchemist, whether he knows it or not. He transmutes invisible forces into visible conditions, thought into flesh, belief into circumstance. The ignorant man does this unconsciously and calls it fate. The wise man does it consciously and calls it creation. The first lesson in this divine science is this: everything you feel, everything you experience has its root in thought. When I say thought, I do not speak of the fleeting ideas that drift through your mind like clouds across the sky. I speak of the thoughts that live beneath thought, the convictions, the assumptions, the silent affirmations that run like deep rivers beneath the surface of your awareness. These are the architects of your reality. Every pain that arises in your life, whether in your body or in your heart, can be traced to some belief, some idea, some misalignment between your conscious desire and your subconscious conviction. Let me show you how this alchemy unfolds. When you feel fear, that silent dread that grips the stomach and freezes the breath, you are, in that moment, sending a message to every cell of your being. Danger is near. Prepare for defense. The body obeys, muscles tighten, blood flow shifts, hormones surge. If this command is brief, the system recovers. But if the fear is constant, the body begins to live in a storm of self-preservation. The very organs that were designed for peace begin to wear under the strain of battle. That is how thought becomes matter. That is how pain becomes chronic. Yet the same law that binds you can also free you. For if negative thought can create disorder, then conscious, constructive thought can restore harmony. This is the alchemy of healing, the transmutation of vibration through understanding and intention. The divine mind that designed the universe responds to vibration, not words alone. You cannot speak healing into being while your heart trembles with disbelief. The power lies not in the sound of your speech, but in the conviction that fuels it. The universe responds to feeling as its command language. Therefore, when you speak to your pain, you must not merely utter words. You must feel their truth. You must send forth a vibration of certainty that says, I am already whole. Do not confuse wholeness with absence of symptoms. Wholeness is harmony, the alignment of spirit, mind, and body with the pattern of divine perfection. When harmony is restored, symptoms must eventually obey, for they are only echoes of inner disorder. Let us consider a simple yet profound principle. Energy follows attention. Where you place your attention, you place your life force. If you give your constant focus to pain, fearing it, analyzing it, feeding it with anxiety, you magnify it. You build a shrine to it in your consciousness, and the energy of your belief keeps it alive. But if you look upon it as a teacher, if you say, Pain, I honor you for revealing what I must transform, you change the polarity of that energy. You lift it from resistance to cooperation, and in that moment, alchemy begins. The poison becomes the medicine. The very energy that once harmed you begins to serve you. For nothing in creation is wasted. Everything, when rightly understood, becomes fuel for awakening. You may ask, but how can thought alone mend the broken tissue, knit the torn fiber, heal the disease that doctors have named incurable? And I answer you, it is not thought alone. It is the consciousness behind the thought. The body is the instrument of the mind is the instrument of spirit. When you unite your thought with the spirit that created you, You awaken forces that transcend material limitation. Have you not seen wounds close? Tumors vanish and broken hearts mend when faith replaces fear? Science calls it spontaneous remission. I call it divine order reclaiming its rightful dominion. Every healing, no matter through what means it comes, is but the restoration of harmony, the clearing away of mental interference, so that the life force may flow unobstructed once more. Now listen well. The alchemy of pain requires discipline. You cannot heal by wishful thinking. You heal by deliberate thinking, by training the mind to hold to truth, even when the senses scream of suffering. When you look upon your pain and affirm, "This too is energy, and I command it to serve my highest good," you are practicing spiritual chemistry. You are converting base emotion into golden realization. You must persist in this practice as the sculptor persists in shaping the stone. Each day you chip away at fear, doubt, and resentment. Each affirmation of peace, each moment of gratitude is another stroke of the chisel that reveals the masterpiece within. In time, the old patterns crumble, the mind grows still. And in that stillness, the body receives new instructions, instructions born of order, not chaos. Remember always, you are not healing from something. You are returning to something. You are returning to your natural state of harmony with the infinite. Pain is not the end. It is the beginning of awareness. It is the voice of your own divinity calling you to rise above the illusion of separation. Speak to your pain, therefore, not as a prisoner begging release, but as a creator reclaiming command. Say to it, "I thank you for your message. I release the lesson with gratitude. Return now to the source from which you came." And it will obey, for pain, too, is under divine law. It cannot remain where it is no longer needed. This is the science of thought, the alchemy by which fear is transmuted into faith and suffering into sovereignty. But the process does not end here. No alchemist becomes a master until he understands the law of substitution, the power to replace destructive thought with constructive creation. For nature abhors a vacuum, and the mind that releases pain must fill itself with purpose. In the next part, I shall unveil this law, how to not merely end your pain, but to elevate it into strength, wisdom, and divine purpose, until what once wounded you becomes the very source of your power. My friend, now that you have learned to speak to your pain and to perceive its hidden wisdom, it is time to ascend to the next height of mastery, to transmute that pain into power. For it is not enough to be free of suffering. You must turn your suffering into the very fuel of your greatness. This I call the law of substitution, one of the mightiest principles in the divine order of healing. It declares that no thought, no emotion, no energy can be destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another by the deliberate act of your will. Just as the chemist cannot destroy matter but may alter its composition, so you cannot erase pain by denial or avoidance. You must transform it through understanding and choice. You see, every thought carries a vibration, a frequency of energy that either builds or breaks, uplifts or diminishes, harmonizes or divides. Pain vibrates at a low, dense frequency. It binds the spirit to limitation. But gratitude, love, and purpose vibrate at high frequencies that liberate and expand. When you consciously shift from the vibration of pain to that of purpose, you alter your entire field of being. This is not poetry. It is spiritual physics. You have felt it yourself. When you are filled with bitterness, your body tightens, your breath shortens, your heart grows heavy. But when you forgive, when you give thanks, even in sorrow, the body softens. A warmth arises. Life begins to flow again. The same energy that once caused agony begins to generate renewal. That is the law of substitution in motion. To apply this law, you must first become aware of your dominant vibration, the emotional tone that colors your thoughts each day. Awareness is the light that reveals what must be changed. When pain arises, pause and observe it. Do not rush to suppress it. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What emotion am I feeding? You will often find behind the pain an old belief, I am not enough, life is unfair, love has abandoned me. These are the seeds of suffering planted long ago by ignorance or experience. Now the untrained mind tries to fight these thoughts, to push them away. But fighting darkness does not produce light. Lighting a candle does. Therefore, do not resist the thought. Replace it. This is the essence of the law of substitution. You cannot eliminate a negative thought by force, you can only displace it with its opposite. When you are tempted to dwell on fear, substitute faith. When resentment stirs, substitute gratitude. When despair whispers, substitute vision. The subconscious mind cannot hold two opposing ideas at the same time. The one you feed with emotion and repetition becomes the master, the other dissolves for lack of attention. So, when pain visits, speak to it as before, but now, give it a new assignment. Say, "You have done your duty in showing me what was broken. Now, by divine command, you shall serve me in building strength. I transform this energy into courage, wisdom, and peace." And then act in harmony with that command. Thought becomes belief only through action. Let me give you an example. Suppose your heart has been wounded by betrayal. The pain is sharp, relentless. The mind circles around questions. Why did this happen? Why me? These thoughts hold you prisoner. But under the law of substitution, you take that same emotional energy, the energy that once fed bitterness, and you redirect it toward understanding and compassion. You say to yourself, "This experience has revealed the depth of my capacity to love. It has shown me what I value and what I will no longer accept. I bless the lesson and rise wiser than before." In that instant, the energy shifts. The vibration of pain begins to climb the ladder toward purpose. And when pain finds purpose, it loses its poison. You begin to realize that every wound was an initiation, every trial, a teacher sent to expand the boundaries of your soul. What once seemed a curse becomes a crown. You see, power is not granted to those who avoid suffering. It is born in those who transmute suffering into service. Every great soul that has walked this earth, from prophets to inventors, from healers to leaders, has known the furnace of adversity, yet they emerged purified, their pain reborn as vision. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before his invention brought light to mankind. He could have called each failure pain. Instead, he called each one instruction. He substituted discouragement with curiosity, defeat with determination, and in doing so he revealed a universal truth. What you call pain is often unrealized potential seeking expression. When you begin to substitute faith for fear, your very cells begin to respond. The chemistry of your body changes. Hormones of healing replace chemicals of stress. The heart rate steadies. The nervous system relaxes. Energy once trapped in tension becomes available for renewal. This is not imagination. It is cooperation with divine law. The law of substitution also governs the invisible realm of thought forms. For every destructive idea, there exists a constructive counterpart, a higher octave of the same energy. The emotion of anger, for instance, when refined through understanding, becomes passion for justice. The emotion of grief, when lifted through gratitude, becomes compassion for others. And compassion, my friend, is the highest form of healing. When you transform your own pain, you become an instrument through which others may find freedom. Your presence begins to radiate peace, not because your life is free from challenge, but because you have learned how to turn challenge into creation. There is no greater mastery than this. Now understand this final truth about the law of substitution. You must give your mind a new aim, or it will return to its old patterns. Nature abhors a vacuum. Once you release your pain, you must fill the space with a definite purpose, a vision that excites your spirit. Write it, speak it, see it daily. Let it become the new magnet of your energy. If you were once weakened by illness, let your new purpose be radiant health, not merely for yourself, but as an example to others. If you were once betrayed, let your purpose be to teach unconditional love. If you once failed, let your purpose be to inspire perseverance. In this way, the ashes of your suffering become the soil of your destiny. When the mind holds a vision so strong that no pain can distract it, the entire being aligns with that higher order. Healing, then, is not only recovery, it is resurrection. This, my friend, is the true alchemy of life, to take what was meant to break you and use it to build the bridge to your higher self. When you live by this law, you no longer fear pain, for you know it cannot harm you, it can only serve you. You become at last a conscious co-creator with the divine. You have spoken to your pain, understood its lesson, and now transformed its energy into purpose. But one more step remains, the step that seals your healing and magnifies your power. The law of harmony, the art of aligning your will with the infinite rhythm of the universe. My friend, we have spoken of pain, of its secret message, of the science by which it becomes power, yet there remains a higher octave, still the summit toward which all the laws of healing ascend. It is harmony, the final law, the great peace beyond striving. Harmony is the music of the divine mind. It is the eternal rhythm that underlies every heartbeat, every sunrise, every breath of creation. To live in harmony is to live in tune with that cosmic melody, to let your thoughts, emotions, and actions vibrate in accord with the higher order of the universe. Where there is harmony, there can be no disease. For disease at its root is discord, a dissonance between the mind and the spirit, between what you believe and what is eternally true. You see, the body is a symphony. Each organ, each cell, each nerve is an instrument tuned by the great conductor, the intelligence that animates life. When one instrument falls out of tune, the music becomes harsh, the rhythm falters, we call it sickness. But when the conductor, your consciousness, restores alignment through faith, gratitude, and peace, the instruments retune themselves, and the melody of health returns. Thus, the final and greatest healing is not to silence pain, but to restore music. Let us look deeper. The law of harmony declares that every living thing has its perfect pattern. The seed carries the blueprint of the tree. The embryo carries the plan of the man. The universe itself carries the plan of perfection within every atom. And you, child of infinite mind, carry within your soul the divine pattern of perfect health, peace, and abundance. When your thoughts flow in accord with that pattern, when you think thoughts of love, faith, and purpose, you live in harmony. But when you allow fear, resentment, or despair to dominate your inner world, you create interference, like static in a radio wave. The signal of divine order cannot express itself through confusion. That interference is what we call imbalance, and imbalance sustained long enough becomes pain. Therefore, to heal is to harmonize. It is to remove the static of fear and let the clear music of divine life flow once more through your being. Think of a river. When its course is clear, it moves effortlessly, nourishing every field it touches. But when stones and debris block its path, the current weakens, the water stagnates. The river does not lose its source, the blockage simply prevents the flow. So it is with you. The life force never leaves you. The source of all energy continues to pour itself into your soul unceasingly. But when your thoughts are clogged with bitterness, fear, or self-condemnation, the flow becomes restricted. Healing, then, is not to beg for more life, but to remove the stones from your river. Those stones are your negative emotions, your doubts, your self-pity, your guilt, all those mental obstructions that keep you from knowing yourself as one with infinite intelligence. The law of harmony is not a law of effort, but of surrender. The ego strives, the soul surrenders. The ego wrestles for control, the soul yields to divine rhythm. And in that yielding, miracles occur, for life, when unobstructed, knows how to heal itself. Consider the body of the earth. When the wind blows, the trees bend. They do not resist. When the tide recedes, the ocean does not weep. It knows it will return. So must you learn the wisdom of surrender, not resignation, but trust in the eternal balance that governs all things. There are seasons in your life as there are in nature. There are seasons of growth and seasons of rest, seasons of pain and seasons of renewal. To live in harmony is to accept each season without resistance, knowing that all serve your evolution. When winter comes, the wise man does not curse the snow. He tends his fire and prepares his heart for spring. So it is with your soul. When pain comes, it is winter, a time when life turns inward to strengthen its roots. When joy returns, it is spring, a time of blossoming. But both belong to the same divine rhythm. To reject one is to delay the other. You must learn to see the wholeness of experience. Harmony, therefore, is the understanding that nothing in your life is outside the order of your good. Every circumstance, however painful, carries a purpose. Every detour conceals direction. Every silence prepares for a symphony yet unheard. The man who lives in harmony no longer divides his experiences into good and bad. He sees all as movement, all as motion within the great current of divine intelligence. He does not say, "This pain should not be." He says, "This too serves my unfolding." And in that acceptance, resistance melts and pain, finding no opposition, dissolves into peace. The law of harmony also governs relationships, for you are not a solitary instrument. You are part of the universal orchestra. Each human soul plays its note in the grand composition of existence. When you strike your note with purity, when you act from love and integrity, you invite others to find their pitch. Discord among men is but the reflection of discord within. The quarrel between nations begins as a quarrel between thoughts. If you would bring peace to your body, bring peace to your mind. If you would bring peace to your mind, bring peace to your relationships. If you would bring peace to your relationships, bring peace to your thoughts. This is the sacred circle of harmony. And know this, when you are in harmony, you become a healing presence to all who cross your path. Your very aura, that invisible atmosphere of thought and feeling, radiates calm. People will feel peace near you and not know why. Your home will seem lighter, your words will carry authority, you will no longer need to speak healing, you will be healing. This is the state of divine health, not merely the absence of disease, but the overflowing vitality that comes from union with Source. Yet harmony must be maintained. Like a finely tuned instrument, your mind requires regular alignment. Each morning when you awaken, you must set the tone of your consciousness. You must tune your instrument before you play the symphony of your day. Spend a few quiet moments each dawn aligning yourself with the infinite. Say within, "I am one with the rhythm of divine life. I am attuned to the great harmony that governs all creation. My thoughts are instruments of peace, my emotions, vibrations of love, my actions, expressions of truth." Repeat it until you feel the vibration of that truth within every cell. Then carry that tone into the world. Do not expect to maintain harmony in noise and confusion if you have not first created silence within. The wise man withdraws daily to the secret place of his own mind to renew his attunement. He knows that outer health and prosperity are but the reflection of inner order. Harmony is the mother of abundance. Look around you. Where nature is in balance, life multiplies. Where man disrupts that balance, decay follows. So it is in your inner world. When your thoughts are aligned with divine rhythm, success flows effortlessly. You need not chase opportunities. They are drawn to your vibration. You attract what harmonizes with your dominant frequency. Therefore, your true work is not to force results, but to maintain harmony. The rest will follow as surely as dawn follows night. When you live by the law of harmony, you cease to struggle against life. You no longer fight the current, you become the current. You no longer ask the universe for blessings, you realize that you are the channel through which blessings flow. And oh, what freedom that realization brings. Imagine walking through your days with a quiet confidence that nothing can truly harm you. Imagine facing loss and still feeling whole, for you know that the source of all things dwells within you. Imagine being able to look upon the faces of those who once hurt you and see only teachers, sent to awaken deeper compassion. That is harmony. It is not achieved in a moment, but cultivated through daily practice, through forgiveness, gratitude, stillness, and service. Forgiveness restores harmony by dissolving resentment, that most corrosive of vibrations. Gratitude restores harmony by magnifying what is good and diminishing what is lacking. Stillness restores harmony by silencing the discordant chatter of the ego. Service restores harmony by aligning your will with divine purpose. Live by these four practices, and the divine order of healing will operate through you naturally. You will no longer seek miracles, you will live them. Let me tell you this truth, and let it strike deep into the soil of your soul. Harmony is your natural state. You need not earn it, nor beg for it. You need only remember it. Every child is born in harmony. Every breath of life carries the rhythm of perfection. It is only through false beliefs, through fear and self-condemnation that we fall out of tune. But you can return this very moment simply by declaring, "I now choose to live in harmony with divine life. I release resistance. I trust the order of the universe. I am whole. Say it often. Believe it fiercely. Live it daily. And as you do, watch how the currents of your life begin to rearrange themselves. Obstacles that once seemed immovable will shift. People and opportunities will appear at the precise moment you are ready. The body will respond with renewed vitality. The mind will grow clear. The heart will rest in peace. For this is the promise of the law of harmony, that all things, seen and unseen, will conspire for your good when you align with the rhythm of the infinite. In pain, you found your teacher. In transformation, you found your power. In harmony, you find your home. And so, my friend, we come to the threshold of the final revelation, the secret that binds all these laws together, the realization of your true identity as the living expression of divine mind. For until you know who you truly are, harmony can be fleeting. But when you remember your divinity, no storm can shake your peace. Understood, my friend? Then here this address shall end upon the summit of harmony, where pain becomes strength and strength becomes peace. Let me seal the circle of wisdom with these closing words. Remember, all that you have sought outside yourself has been breathing within you all along. There is no power that can break you if you remain aligned with the divine order that created you. Speak to your pain, transform it into power, and let it go. Listen to your heart, for it is the compass of your spirit, and walk forward calmly, steadfastly, with faith in the rhythm of that infinite harmony we call life. This is the end of the speech, but the beginning of your transformation.